UMAI Dry Aging can be fun. All right, so if you didn't get that, the name of these bags are UMAI, and what they are is dry aging bags. Have you ever wanted to do some dry aging of some beef and not have one of those multi-$1,000 dry age refrigerators available to you? Yeah, well, me neither. But the good news is we have these on our website. They're UMAI Dry Aging bags. You do it right in your own refrigerator. It's awesome. Before I forget, hey, welcome back to the FOGO Life. I'm your host, Captain Ron. Can't forget that. Anyway, so we're gonna get into some dry aging today. We have this beautiful prime New York strip roast that we're gonna dry age here. We're gonna show you how to do it in these bags. We're gonna start a 45-day process. That's right, 45 days. So it's cool, let's get started. Like I said before, the bags that we're using are these UMAI dry bags. Now they have all different ones. This one is specifically made for like strip roasts and things like that. There's another one here for brisket, for a different kind of roast, and for like a sampler platter. They have all different bags. This one again is for the roast. Now let's talk about the roast for a second here, okay? We're using a prime New York strip roast here. I skipped a couple of points here because I wanted to get the meat out right away, but a couple things. A, use a meat that comes from the manufacturer already cryogenically sealed. You don't want the one that's been opened and repackaged like at your supermarket or something like that. You want to get it in the original cryovac packaging. Very important. And when you take it out, cut the end open, do not touch it. Kind of squeeze it out and let it come out. We have not touched this meat with our hands at all. When I do handle it, I'm going to use gloves. It's an important part of the process because the bag has to adhere to that. And if you touch it a lot with your fingers, it's not going to make that adhesion. So do not touch the meat before you put it into the dry age bag with your hand. So here's the bags, okay? They're really cool. It looks just like a regular plastic bag, but the nice part about them is that these bags, the way that they work, even though we're going to vacuum seal it, it's meant to let air in and let moisture out. The way that they're made is really cool so that they're going to do that. So we want to handle the meat as little as possible. So all I'm going to do is, like I said, gloves on, very important. And also, don't wipe the meat off. Notice we didn't trim it. All the fat is still on here, all of it. So I'm going to put it in and put it all the way as far deep down in the bag as we can get it. Okay, just like that. See? Perfecto. That's how we want it. Since we just put the meat in here, we want to be able to make a great seal on it. Now, the fat, the juices all touch the edge of this bag. So take a clean paper towel, and we're going to clean off the whole inside of this bag really good because we want to be able to perform a really nice, tight seal. These bags come with these things here. It's like a little foam piece. It's called a vacuum mouse sealer. So what you do when you're aligning this in your vacuum sealer, we're going to put it right into the edge of the bag so that it sits in here kind of like this, perfectly even. It's going to help us create a better seal for this thing. As you're doing this, you want to kind of push the air forward, push out all the dimples into the meat. You want as much adhesion, you want as much of this bag touching this meat as is humanly possible. And now it's sealing. Okay, now it's sealed once, so we're going to wait about 10 seconds. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to seal this again. So I'm going to drop it down, okay, into my lower one here. Nope, we're going to do it right here. I'm going to leave it right in the same spot. And now we're just going to seal it again. Our second seal is done. So you can see we have a beautiful double seal right here. And that vacuum mouse, it seals it right through that vacuum mouse, okay? So we've got our beautiful thing here. It's all sealed. We're going to go in our refrigerator. Now, when you put it in the refrigerator, for the first week, do not touch it. Don't touch it, okay? It's really important. We're going to put it on a rack. And actually, believe it or not, if you use a refrigerator that's opened a lot, that's actually going to help it. Okay. Hi. So here we are again, okay? So we've been doing this for 14 days right now, and this is looking cool. So what I did is, we showed you, we packaged it up, and I put it in the refrigerator. After the first couple of days, I flipped it over, and it is looking exactly like what it's supposed to look like. All right? The bag kind of separated a little bit, because remember, these bags are designed to let air out, let moisture out, and let air in. So it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. The fat cap side has changed color a little bit here. All right, but if you look at the ends, you can see they're turning nice and dark, getting that deep burgundy color to them. It's looking really good. So we've had this on its own shelf for about 2 weeks now. So we're on day 14, actually. My family is driving me crazy because they said I'm taking up an entire shelf in the refrigerator. But so far, I think this is absolutely going to be worth it. It's looking perfect. It's got great color. So what we want to do is inspect it, make sure we're not finding any green mold or anything like that. Nope. everything is looking absolutely perfect the way the dry aging is supposed to work. So the UMAI dry bags are working like a champion. We'll check it again in another 7 days. To the refrigerator! It's 45 days! I'm so excited. That's right, it has been 45 days since we put this New York strip roast into this UMAI dry bag, and we've been dry aging it in my refrigerator since then. I cannot wait to see the difference. We've got a regular steak that we're gonna cook it right next to that I just got yesterday, no dry aging or anything. We're gonna compare the two and see, does dry aging make a difference and is it really worth it? Now let's get to it. Now, let Professor Ron teach you what dry aging is. All right, the process changes beef by two means, basically. First, moisture is evaporated from the muscle, okay? What happens is that it gives a greater concentration of that beautiful beef flavor that we want. Second, the beef's natural enzymes break down the connective tissue in the muscle, which leads to a more tender piece of beef. All right, this process also promotes the growth of certain enzymes, which is gonna give you like almost a cheesy, kind of nuttier flavor. So it's gonna take the whole outside, make it dark, it makes the surrounding the fat gets stronger, giving more intense flavor. So what we have to do is we have to open this up, trim off all that fat, and then cook it like that for a more tender, more flavorful steak. And of course, you can find all of this on Google. All right, we're gonna cut this open. It's been sitting dry aging, and it's kind of, you know, the idea of it is to build mold on the outside. So I'm gonna put my gloves on, and look how nice they are. They're so grippy because these little dimples. Yep, if you want them, there's a link down below. Look at that. Look at that beautiful dark color on it. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it is hard as a rock on the outside. This worked exactly the way it's supposed to work. One of the things that the dry aging process does is it draws all the moisture out of the outside perimeter of the steak, out of this whole entire thing. So when we started, this thing was at about 7 pounds, this whole roast right here, okay? Now, if you look at it now, 5.11, 5 pounds, 11 ounces. That's quite a considerable difference from a 7-pound roast. And it is time to start cleaning this thing up. Now don't worry about the moisture loss. You're still gonna have a tender, moist steak inside. It merely takes the moisture out of the outside edge, so it seals in all of that moisture in the dry aging process. Now when you're trimming your steaks, okay, you wanna cut off all this dark here, but you see like around the very edges where it got dark? Okay, that's gonna be a little bit nuttier flavor, gonna be a little stronger flavored. I'm gonna leave that on here. You can cut that out if you want, that's up to you. I like the flavor, so I'm gonna get pretty much cut right along this fat line right here and cut all of this off of here. So we're cutting all of this dark all the way around. We're cutting all of this darkness and fat layer off the outside. Now, you wanna see something cool, is this is our dry aged one, and here's one that I bought at the store yesterday, a prime. You can tell it, and it's plenty marbled, but it's not as prominent as this one is. So it's kind of the same steak here, but they do look different. This has a little pinker hue, this is still more red. Kind of interesting to see the difference. We're gonna cook these up side by side and see if there really is enough of a difference to justify dry aging. And so we know which is which. I'm marking a dry aged steak with a marker. And we're gonna leave those there to season for about a while. That's an exact amount of time. And we're gonna light the grill for grilling. Simple, easy open bag. And for today's experiment, we're going to use our Mini Max Big Green Egg. All right, so we want to make sure we don't overcook this. So I'm going to stick my meter probe in here, all the way up to the line, right in the middle of the steak. All right, we're going to cook this to about 115 degrees. That's right, 115, that's it. We are ready to reverse sear these, which means we're going to cook them indirect. So we got the Mini Max set up with the diverter in there, and we have our dry aged steak and our non-dry aged steak on the other. All right, our meter says that we are at 115 on this one. I checked this one with my Thermopen, and we are at 115 on that one as well. Kind of interesting. I thought they would cook and that the dry aged one would cook a little bit quicker, but they seem to be done right at about the same time. I can't believe I used the tongs without calibrating them. 3-click minimum. We all know that's the rule. Now let's make this thing into a direct cooker. Very simple. To make it direct, we just pull the grate off, pull this out of here, put the grate back on, and let that fire build. One thing you always want to do before searing, pull this meter out of here. You don't want this exposed to direct flames. Take this out. Let's flip her over. Gorgeous sear, gorgeous. Oh boy, my favorite time. So I have to say the meter did its job beautifully. We took these to an absolute perfect wellness done here for me. I like it just like this. So a couple notes is that the one that was dry aged really held its shape and form much better. It sliced more evenly. This one, when I went to cut it, the non-dry aged, kind of mushed down a little more, was a little bit more difficult to slice. So whatever that means, I don't know. We're gonna tell the tenderness in 1 second here. So I'm gonna take a half a slice there and a half a slice here for the dry aged first. Cheers, my friends, cheers. It's almost like a blue cheesy, nutty kind of flavor. It's really good. It's super tender. You can tell, I think because it held its shape so well, it might be a touch, I don't know, it's supposed to be more tender, I don't know, but it might be a touch tougher. I have to try this one now. Try it out, non-dry aged. Let's give this one a whirl too. I love my job. What can you say? It's a prime New York strip. It doesn't get too much better. Delicious, absolutely delicious. The dry aged one definitely has a much different flavor. It doesn't punch you in the face, you know, but you get it as soon as you bite into it. It's got that nutty, like I said, blue cheesy kind of flavor. I like it a lot, actually. I'm kind of surprised at how much I really enjoyed that. The regular one is very good also. Wouldn't say no to that if somebody served it to me. Either one of these, I'd be happy as can be if they serve it to me in a restaurant. So I would have to say that the dry aging is definitely well worth it. If you like that flavor, if you've never tried it, definitely try it. Those UMAI dry bags, they're available on our website. There's a link down below, as are any of the other products and things that we've used in this video. If you ever see anything that we're liking, there's usually a link in the description down below. Hit it up, find out more about it, see if it's something that would work for you, okay? Until then, I gotta tell you, I'm really happy that we did this. 45 days is a long time to wait to eat a piece of steak, but it was really well worth it. So I'm definitely gonna continue to do this in my own house for my family. I really enjoy it. I'm still gonna have regular steaks as well. So I definitely think you should give it a try. I really like it a lot. I'm not gonna say one is better than the other because they're different. They're just very different. You gotta compare apples to oranges. If you like that nuttier flavor, great. The texture on both was great. So anyway, listen, that's everything I've got for you this week. I hope that you enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing it. It was a long process, but as I said before, the link for everything in the description. If you like what you saw here, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. We are the FOGO Charcoal YouTube channel. Subscribe away, all right? You know that because you're watching. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. I hope you remember to do one thing for me. Get out and grill, all right? No matter where you are, what you're doing, get out and grill, and I'll see you the next time on the FOGO Life.